어세요. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. 리하리하리하리하. 힐리스님 어서오세요. 아, 사악한 그러전씨 후손이라뇨. 무슨 그런 말도 안 되는 소리를. BK는 그래서 저희가 쫓아냈습니다. 10년 전에 8년 전에 쫓아냈습니다. 2016년에. 네, 어서오세요. Welcome to the stream, guys. Today we're going to talk about Intel Arc B580. Intel's latest 250 USD graphics card. It's going to be a meta review of all the other reviews. 하라님님 어서오세요. What? I humbly apologize as an Intel doubter. Yeah, well, spoiler, it's okay. It's alright. Now that is on scale of 7600 Radeon RX 7600 and GeForce RTX 4060 being, wow, that's terrible value. And Intel is at like, okay, that's alright. That's acceptable, but not good nor great. So yeah, unfortunate. 리캡에서 1등으로 많이 봤다고 저희 방송을? 아, 감사합니다. 대리 인사 감사합니다. 항상 저희 방송을 봐주신 당신 전국 F협회 회원들 덕분입니다. 감사합니다. Honestly, the B580 was better than I expected. I was expecting at or below 4060 tier perf. Yeah. It's about where I expected it. And my pre-release conclusion or pre-release opinion still stands. The value's okay, but it's not good enough to move the needle. We'll get to that. Why I think that way. Anyway, here's a chart that I compiled of all the available well, not all the available, but many of the available reviews. Alrighty, let's go. Here it is. So here's my compilation of all the available. I keep saying all the available, but available data. Some of the available data. Is that big enough? So this is 1080p perf. On the far left column, we have the publisher. So Tech Power Up, Hardware Unboxed, Kit Guru, LTT, Quasar Zone, and Tom's Hardware. So we have 3 YouTube reviewers and 3 written publishers. Well, I mean, they all do like a mix of written and YouTube, but these 3 are mostly YouTube and these 3 are mostly written. Anyway, that's not important. Yeah, exactly. B580 would have been great 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago when 4060 and 7600 came out. To no one's fanfare. because they were very, very uninteresting in terms of value proposition. 자, 인텔 아크 B580 리뷰들을, 각종 리뷰들을 이렇게 정리를 해놨거든요, 제가. TPU는 테크 파워업, 얘는 하드웨어 언박스, 얘는 킥구루, 얘는 LTT, QZ는 퀘이저존, 텀스는 텀스 하드웨어. So these two are the important columns here. So B580 versus 4060. On average, we're seeing about 5.8% increase in raster 1080p performance. It's mostly raster. Hardware Unboxed did include 2 ray tracing titles out of 12 of their game suite, but yeah, that's only 2 out of like however many, probably 20 plus games tested across these 6 publishers. And versus the 7600, we're seeing about 14.2% improvement. 1080p raster. GeForce 4060에 비해서는 대략 6%, 5.8% 정도의 성능 향상을 보이고요. B582. 그리고 B582 라데온 7600에 비해서는 대략 14%의 성능 향상을 보여줍니다. And there were some outliers like Tom's Hardware, for example. Their average 7600 average performance was really low. So I took a look at their like individual games, and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 performs like terribly. I think they were one of the only or one of the few that actually tested that game. And it performs terribly on 7600 at Ultra for some reason. 1080p Ultra. And then Quasar Zone, on average, found the B580 to be the least improved. So the coloring here, the closest to the 50th percentile it is, the more green the color is. So 50th percentile, I believe, should be the median. I think. And also the same thing here. The closer to the middle, the 50th percentile, the brighter the green is. So the outliers are not colored or lightly colored. No, they're not colored at all. The minimum and the maximum outliers are not colored at all. LTT saw a really large bump over the 4060 somehow. Like, they were the only ones to find double-digit improvement over the 4060. And I think it's because their game testing suite is only like 6 games, if I'm not mistaken. What if we also add in a price frame comparison? So yeah, I'll get to that after. Now let's look at the 1440p performance. And the note I have here, so yeah, except for Hardware Unboxed, which included 2 ray tracing games, I already said that. And one thing not mentioned here in this chart is that the B580 still seems to have some driver issues compared to. It's much better in terms of driver support on launch day compared to ARC A750, the Alchemist cards. A750, A770. However, compared to NVIDIA and AMD, it's still lagging behind. So the 1%, the minimum FPS usually people measure that in terms of 1% or 0.1% lows, are about on par with the 4060 and the 7600. It's got a better average frame rate, but the minimum frame rate is only on par with the competition. So that should be noted. Here, for example, hardware unbox data shows that 1% low across the 12-game test suite was 58 FPS for the Intel card, 57 FPS for the Nvidia card, and 58 FPS for the AMD card. So they're basically the same, even though their average shows the B580 at 77 frames, 4060 at 72 frames, and 7600 at 71 frames. Now, I'm personally not interested in Linux gaming, so I didn't take a look at any of the Linux-focused reviews. So I don't know anything about Linux performance. I think I watched and read so many reviews, I don't know where it's from, but I think someone said that Intel generally doesn't have good Linux support. I don't hate Linux, I just don't use it, so it's irrelevant to me. Anyway, 1440p is where the B580 really shines. By the way, you might be thinking, why does Quasar Zone have such high frame rate? And that's because they didn't show frame rates, they only show the percentage. They set the 4060 at 100%. And LTT, probably because they only tested 6 games, in which cards typically get high frame rate. Anyway, let's look at 1440p. Now, because LTT has such a large fan base, I should put a disclaimer here. Maybe they did test more than 6 games. I only counted about 6 games in their video, but maybe Linus said, we're only showing these, but we actually tested more. I do not know. So maybe they tested more. Anyway, 1440p is where the Intel Arc B580 truly shines. You can see that on average, we're seeing about 13% improvement over the 4060, and a whopping 26% improvement. It's kind of skewed by Tom's Hardware seeing 46% improvement, which just feels like they had a bad 7600 sample, or their driver installation was messed up, because they're so far out there by themselves. But yeah, if you just look at the ones close to the 50s percentile, it's around 20 to 30%. Which is, in my opinion, quite impressive, because I classify the 4060 and the 7600 as squarely 1080p cards. But the P580 is just fast enough to be a 1440p card. And not only because it is faster in terms of performance, but also because it has 12 gigabytes of VRAM, which means that it'll have less games in the future, where the games will require more VRAM than the card can offer. In fact, some of the greater lead over the 4060 and 7600 visible in 1440p testing is due to 4060 and 7600 with their paltry 8GB of VRAM struggling at 1440p because the games are requesting more than 8GB of VRAM. Well, no, the games are not requesting. The games have more than 8GB of assets that they want to put in the VRAM, but they can't. So yeah, Quasar Zone saw the least improvements. But yeah, around 12-13%. And then between 20 and 30% over the 7600. That's pretty nice because the MSRP for the B580 is $250. The 7600 can be found around that price as well. Let's take a quick look. So the 7600 lowest price card is currently, oh shoot, that's a rating. $250 or $252. There you go. So it's the same price. And the 4060 is a little more expensive. At $290. Now, these are the current prices after Black Friday. During Black Friday, you would have had better pricing than this. Let's just take a quick look. Yeah, $280 for the 4060. Looks like that's the best price. $275 for Ventus 2X. Now, that wasn't during Black Friday, but it was available for like a week at that pricing. $285. So yeah, this had the best price. $279 or $275. So yeah, $278, $275 versus $250. It's not a big difference. 10%. What about something like a used 6700 or A770? I'm not comparing to used cars because not everyone's comfortable buying used. And yeah, if you look at used cars, there's always better deal going used than going brand new. Personally, I would recommend going with something like a 6800 non-XT. I'm sure you can find that around the same like $250, $300 price bracket. Now, mind you, only the Intel quote-unquote limited edition is going to be released at $250. The partner models are all like $260, $280, more expensive than $250. which is why I'm kind of hesitant to call the B580 like cheaper. It's a little cheaper, but not really. Ozrock A770 for $230 on egg. Yeah, so compared to the A770, I didn't list it, but let's take a quick look at Tech Power Up's review. I brought this, I had this up for the power consumption, but I'll bring up the performance here. So compared to the A770, the B580 is still faster. So about, what, 17-ish% faster than the A770 at 1080p. And 1440p, about 14% faster. What's 100 divided by 88? Yeah, 14% faster at 1440p. What are you buying? I'm not buying any because I'm not interested in this performance tier. Now, a bit of a sidetrack, but if Intel do release an Intel Arc B, I don't know, 770 or B780 or something like that, a higher tier card than the B580, then I might be interested to have it as like a second small form factor build. Ranus Riha, Monarsi Riha. So I see a lot of the reviewers are praising the B580 right now. But my opinion is this. This tier of performance, so here, 1080p performance, minus like 7%, was available since 1.5 years ago for around the same price, a little higher for Nvidia, and about the same price for AMD. The people that bought those cards a year and a half ago, sure, they paid a little more for a slightly slower product, but they had a full 18 months to enjoy their new product. Whereas if you buy the B580 right now, well, you have about 3 months before RTX 50 and RX 80 series cards are out. So that's why I don't think the $250 pricing is impressive as people make it to be. Now, it does offer something more than the 4060 and the 7600 because it is actually a viable 1440p card due to its 12GB of VRAM and higher memory bandwidth. But I don't think that's quite enough for Intel to really capture the market share. If Intel were very serious about capturing market share, the mind share, they should have released the B580 at $200, $210, $220-ish dollars. And TPU, Tech Power Up, does a great comparison here. So they did an actual value comparison. Performance per dollar. So Arc B580 at $250 has 100% is labeled as when it's set as the 100% performance. Then relative to that, the 7600 is about 87% in terms of performance per dollar at $250. And the RTX 4060 is 83% in terms of performance per dollar. $250 is a release price. Later, it'll be down priced to $220 when the 770 equivalent is out. But we don't know that. And you can never judge a product on promises or your hopes. Source me, I made it. I made it up. Alright. Hey, if Intel do cut the price on the B580 to 220 down the line, I'll credit you for being one of the first to call it. Anyway, so here you have the different performance per dollar percentage if the B580 is a different price. So at $250, it'll be 100%. If it released at $275, it would only be 91% here. Now, had it been released at $225, it would have been 111%, which is 20% performance per dollar better than the 4060 and the 7600. Or sorry, more than 20%. Because right now it's like on borderline 20% better. 100 over 83 is, I believe, like exactly 20%. 100. $83 is, yeah, 20% better compared to the 4060 and 15% better performance per dollar compared to the 7600, which isn't quite enough in my opinion, given the downsides that I mentioned earlier. You're getting it a year and a half down the life cycle of the other two products. Price efficiency is a sham anyway. You'll buy the thing on a discount when it comes anyway. Yeah, so my conclusion is hold. Unless you need a video card right now. A low mid-range video card right now. Hold. The raw numbers kind of discount the features that are also hardware accelerated, unlike AMD stuff. Well, it's more complicated than only Intel being discounted. I mean, you can call the 7600 molasses, old molasses. Oh no, you weren't saying molasses, you were saying old AMD. So let's compare features. Compute. CUDA is the most widely supported, so NVIDIA has a leg up on that. DLSS is the most widely supported upsampling, So NVIDIA again has a leg up on that. And DLSS has the best quality as well. So it has the widest support and best quality. Although XeSS, Intel's upsampling is close second, it is nowhere near as widely supported. Many of the... No, I shouldn't say many. Who was it? One of the reviewers, was it Der Bauer or... Anyway, one of the reviewers I watched today were saying, yeah, this game didn't have XeSS support, this game didn't have XeSS support. And for media encoding and decoding, NVENC and QuickSync are about tied. NVENC has better H.264, I think. And QuickSync does better AV1, but the support for AV1 is still kind of limited, so it's an upcoming feature. The lack of XeSS kind of sucks, so you can hack it into DLSS games. Has that been tested? Does that work in all cases where DLSS is supported? Even if it is, it's still an additional step that an average consumer probably will not take. So that's the thing again. If Intel wanted to move the market share needle, B580 is not going to cut it. The average consumer might not even know what DLSS is, to be honest. Fair enough. So it just comes down to the name value. GeForce for gaming. How much better is the B580? Is Intel's ARC gonna have to be before someone can be convinced that, sure, let's give an Intel card a try? And I don't think 20% or 15% is it. As for the VRAM, yes, it's not taken into account for every game that was put into this average. But at 1440p, it does come into play, so it's not like it's completely discounted. So I would have liked to have seen this. At least $225. And better if it were $200. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the power usage and call it a day. Oh, by the way, while I'm looking at the power usage, does anyone know a good resource on comparison of different hardware encoders? NVENC, QuickSync, and AMF? Power usage. So yeah, this is a 190 watt total board power card. But for gaming, generally it doesn't use up all 190 watts, so power consumption gaming, 185 watts, which is about 1.5x over the 4060. So it uses 50% more power approximately well, 40 something percent. For what is that? 40% more power for 6% more performance, or 13% more performance. Although when it comes to ray tracing, Intel actually does quite well. Ahem, I said that, but actually the positioning's even worse here, I guess. It's more than 50% now. That just shows how efficient the Ada Lovelace cards are. Even if their value proposition is garbage. Yeah, I would say it would have to be like 30+%. Because when it's 10%, 15% in a blind test, you're not going to notice the difference between 100% and 115% frame rate. 20% you might start noticing a difference. And 30% is like, yeah. $2019, $2016. If I can't find it, I know that ePause Vox. Yeah, there you go. Did a comparison before. But I just prefer looking at written sources. This one's the older one. He did another video like a year ago. Yeah, the human eye sees only 30 hertz, so... Your eye can see 30, I can only see 24 hertz. Yeah, man, film critics were telling us that 24 hertz is the best frame rate. Epos, Vox, AV1. Whoops, not view count. Upload date. Maybe that was the most recent one. Shocked expression thumbnail. Yeah, I mean, I don't like those videos either, but it's just part of being a YouTuber. I am not free from thumbnails either. Alright, let's take a look at this one here.
But
so yeah, Apex Legend at 1080p 3.5 megabits per second. You can see that... Okay, how do I hide the bar? NVENC and QuickSync are about the same, but AMF is hugely lagging behind. Counter-Strike is 3.5. NVENC and ARC or QuickSync are tied again. Was AMF lagging behind? Same case for Dota, Halo. But yeah, once you're at 6 megabits per second, AMF does okay. But yeah, NVENC and Intel tied again for quality. Is that all the comparison here? Oh yeah, another benefit is that, or downside of NVENC is you do only get 5 streams simultaneous encoding at the same time. Or was it encode decode? I don't remember. 5 codecs running at the same time. Codecs, no. 5 streams running at the same time. But I don't think you really need more than 5 for a gaming card. I mean, yes, I hate that there's a limit in the first place, but for a gaming card, 5's an okay. It's an acceptable number. So yeah. QuickSync and NVENC, both good. Oh yeah, now mostly talking in terms of gaming and streaming. However, who was it? I think Wendell from Level 1 Techs tested machine learning performance, or was it someone else? Let me take a quick peek. Thanks for the ad. Benchmarks, 1440p benchmarks. Maybe it was PC World. I think it was PC World, actually. Time to watch another ad. Yay, thanks YouTube. Oh, and another downside of Arc. Driver instability and per game performance instability. You have some games that perform great, and then you have other games that are absolutely bogged down by something. Machine learning. Oh yeah, and here you go. DaVinci Resolve. Ah, come on. Ah. So many ads. Oh wait, do they have PC World? I think they have written review. Resolve. Huh? Huh? Is it not in the written review? I'll be so sad if it isn't. Oh, okay, here we go. Ah, they didn't post it. Okay. So they had an issue with DaVinci Resolve not even running. Oh my god, please. Here. Big fat 0. Because they couldn't get the test to run. So you still do have some minor compatibility issues. Granted, it is launch day, and I'm sure Intel will patch most of it out within like a week. Machine learning. Do they have it? Oh, who tested it? Someone tested machine learning and Intel did really well. Who was it? Oh, maybe it was Grood. I say guru, but they're Guru 3D. Machine learning? Yes? No? Ah, who was it? Someone tested it. Maybe, but I didn't look at Foreignex review. I'm sorry, Foreignex. I promise I'll keep my visit short and not load too many photos. Images. No, it wasn't Foreignex. Who was it? Oh my god. Whatever, it's not important. It's not important. Whatever. Because we're talking about gaming performance. So yeah. Reiterating my conclusion. A little too little, a little too late. But if you need a card right now, it is the card to get. There you go. B580 meta review. Thank you for watching. And I hope this helps you in making your video card purchase. I'm gonna end the stream here, but I will be back in, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So yeah, see you guys. Bye. Oh my god, I totally forgot to mention. The Pat Gelsinger meme on the thumbnail. Well. Bye.